Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're here to help. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
The Lab is brought to you by State Farm. There for when things go wrong, but also here to help life go right.
Welcome back to our special coverage of Hurricane Harvey. And here at the Weather Channel, we're constantly trying to make sure that you are armed with all of the information necessary to make life-saving decisions. And a lot of that comes with a good forecast. And right now, we are getting a lot of help from our hurricane hunters, as always. This is a look at where they are in terms of in and around the storm, gathering more information, all of that data, then going into computer model runs to fine-tune this incredibly important forecast for the millions of people in the path of this storm, where right now a strong Category 2 hurricane and that landfall now within the next 12 to 24 hours. Here's a live look right now at South Padre Island, one of the spots along the Texas coast gearing up for high impact on every level a storm can bring. We're talking about the wind, the rain, but also high surf and storm surge. So now is the time to prepare. For many, unfortunately, that window is almost closed for preparation. We also try and give you perspective. What is this storm? How does it compare visually? What does it mean for you? And what action then does that lead to? And we could not have a better guest to give us that perspective than retired Army Lieutenant General Russell Honoré. Sir, thank you so much for taking time with us. You're joining us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And if anybody watching seems like that name rings a bell, you are the face of Katrina. You guided Louisiana through Katrina. And so we want to ask you, with anniversary approaching, tracking another major hurricane approaching the Gulf Coast, how are you feeling right now about the situation? And especially, how is Louisiana preparing right now?
Well, the governor of Louisiana designated the state as a state of emergency yesterday because of the flooding that had already occurred in western Louisiana and central Louisiana around Baton Rouge. So we've had a flood event within the last year. And the fact that Cameron Parish is inside the cone of uncertainty, the governor has declared a state of emergency for the entire state of Louisiana. That being said, what I see happening in Texas is encouraging. People are doing the evacuation. I wish were encouraging more people to evacuate, particularly those that are in known flood zones, that evacuate during normal storms. And that decision is normally left up to the local officials to do that recommendation. But I think we'll be looking in hindsight in another 24 hours on why more people did not evacuate, because the predictions that are coming out, and that's all we can work off as prediction, is to show that this will not only be a heavy rainmaker, the surge along the coast where people don't have an option once you get surrounded by water. There'll be a lot of people surrounded by water from the surge as well from the rainwater, up to excess of a foot in some locations. And with the predictions like that, people need to evacuate out of low-lying areas.
You know, we find in this business too, sometimes memories are short, right? And people say, oh, it's been a long time, we'll be fine, we forget how bad it was. Do you think that that's part of your concern, sort of, you know, it's been a long time since this area has had to deal with a major hurricane?
Well, down in, the challenge of leadership is some judgment calls here. Texas got snake bit back during Hurricane Rita when they tried to evacuate Houston, and that didn't work out very well. They did better during Ike, and they are measurably moving forward with decisions on how they're doing evacuation. But one of the things that should be considered, and it would be the authority of the President of the United States, and that is to do a pre-landfall declaration. It's called a pre-declaration decision from the President of the United States that would then free state and federal agencies to know any resources they spend now prior to landfall would be covered under FEMA and the staff of that. We had one of those declarations before Katrina, and believe it or not, it made a significant difference in the state and federal agencies pushing to try and prepare the state. And we ended up with about an 80% evacuation of the New Orleans area before Katrina. So that's something I think the National Security Council should be looking at in D.C. right now, is whether the president should, within the next hour, to do a pre-storm declaration, pre-landfall declaration, thereby putting on notice to state and counties, if you expend resources in preparing right now to save lives during the storm, that those will be a part of your disaster declaration. And I think that should be done today, since this storm is predicted to come ashore at a Category 3 in a very populated area that's surrounded by chemical plants and refineries.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you so much. That is retired Army Lieutenant General Russell Honoré. We appreciate your time, your perspective. Thank you so much. Sit tight. Our continuing coverage continues.
First kid?